What's
I love it.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Ready? Well, welcome to Those Two Dads. I could not resist with the whole stuffy nose and stuff going on, man. Like I had to.
It's like Barry White reincarnated.
Right?
Close, right?
Oh, that's awesome. Kyle,
what's up, everybody?
Get us going, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to another episode of Those Two Dads. Josh, I mean, you couldn't have done it better. There. So here we talk about all things dadpreneur, folks. Josh and I, we both have traditional careers. We're husbands, budding online marketers, and of course, we're dads, right? So here we talk about life, our experiences, how they relate back to juggling and balancing the family life, all while building our online businesses. So I'm Kyle. This is Josh. We have a guest up there in the corner today, guys. I'll introduce Fabian here in just a second. If you're lucky, you may catch the occasional Those Two Dads little tiny terrorists, aka our children. They might be running around the background. In fact, I had to jump downstairs real quick right before we launched this thing, so hopefully we're good. Anyway, today we're going to talk with Fabian Brown. Great Fabian Brown. This man's a jack of all trades and master of many. First of all, one of the coolest things, he's a professional saxophone player, which is pretty rad. Oh
yeah.
Also, he's a producer, runs a nonprofit. You're a busy man, by the way. Just a busy man. A better network marketer, where he's building a huge team, and he's even one of the geniuses behind Clever Moneymakers LLC. Not only that, he does it all while being a dad to 10 kids. I have 2. I don't know how you do 10.
Dun, dun, dun.
Jeez. Anyway, man, welcome. We appreciate having you here.
Dude, Kyle, thank you so much for giving me a seat next to you two fine dudes. I've been watching, I've been paying attention, and it's super cool. Oh, there's Eileen. It's been super cool to see your guys' growth and development and bring in some awesome, amazing dadpreneurs, as you like to say, on the show, man. And consistency wins. So you guys have been consistently showing up and consistently doing your thing. So I'm glad I made it here. I made the cut.
Yeah. Well, dude, we've been wanting to get you on here because, the thing is when Kyle and I first started this whole thing, it actually started out with just an idea. We were, spitballing. We got on a call. We were just trying to figure out how we can do things together.
Yeah, backtrack a little bit first. And honestly,
with
a little gift game,
a little what?
Little gift,
Josh is notorious for the gifts, dude. Josh has single-handedly, completely gave me a gift. I didn't have a gift game until I met Josh. He forced me into the gift world.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because it started out like that, and we got connected doing an OFA challenge way back when, back in February or March or something like that.
Love it.
And just didn't even realize it. And one day we're like, hey, we've been doing gift wars back and forth. Let's get connected. Let's get on a call. And that's how this started. And what happened is we didn't even come up with the idea on the call. It happened afterwards. I was like, dude, we jive really well on the phone. We could totally do something together. And we're like, hey, we should do a podcast. We should do a podcast about being a dad. We should do a podcast about being a dad and being a business owner. And it's like, okay, let's come up with names. And those two dads came up. You do the thing is you start searching around. You're like, okay, here's this idea. Nope. Somebody already has that. Here's this idea. Nope. Somebody has that too.
Yeah.
And this popped up and we both were searching. We're like, I can't find anything on this. And so here it is. Yeah. And the idea was that we wanted to show people that, when it comes to being a dad, we can make things happen just as easy as these, you hear the mompreneur all the time and mom boss and, boss babe and all this stuff. I was just like, why can't we talk about how dads do it? Why can't we talk about us having to deal with the kids sometimes or whatever,
Sometimes.
Yeah, all the time. So, but that's the thing is we want dads on here that are doing that full time, and you're a perfect example of that. Is, you're a full time business owner in multiple businesses and a full time dad. And I honestly, some of your stories are some of my favorite things, especially you and your kids on the trampoline. Like, that's just hilarious to me, of you just holding the phone, jumping around, and like, who would have thought that would get attention, right? But those are the things that we think of as dads.
Yeah.
Moms are like, oh, look at the pretty cuddles we're having, or look at the baking we did. Dads were like, hey, my kid just fell on the ground and scraped his knee. Check this out.
He's gushing blood everywhere. It's awesome. Yeah, I used to do this thing with one of my daughters. We called it Dad, Daughters, and Dolls, and we would go on Snapchat. And this was years ago, man. I definitely have the videos on my phone, but we go on Snapchat, and all we would do is we would create like stories. Like, it was almost like a cross between what you would think a cartoon would be, but with like any object and dolls around the house. It would be the most hilarious thing. My daughter's super duper creative. And we were just talking about that the other day, actually having such a good time. She's 10 now, so that was when she was probably 5 or 6 years old. So yeah.
That's super cool.
Awesome. It was like last night, the boys and I were playing knee hockey upstairs, just in the loft area. Just getting it done.
Yeah, man.
This is all the little things,
So those are the things that you're not gonna, business is great, and earning income is great, and helping other people is great, but dude, your kids grow up pretty fast. I'm looking at my 13-year-old right now, and I'm like, geez, I remember when you were just not 13, right? And all the things that come with, not being 13. So, us dads got to really just kind of get dialed in, man, and focus on what's really, really important, and make sure that you're putting the time with the people that matter. You can't be out here grinding and doing all the things and then be neglecting, what's
Right.
the most important thing, which is, the fam. So,
dude, that's so true. Like, and you see it all the time of people online that are like, every day is grinding. Sunday's another grind day. It's not just a day off. And I'm over here like, the only reason I'm on this on a Sunday is because out of respect for my partner Kyle, they have a busy hockey day on Saturdays. And so, I'm fine getting on here and doing this, and, being able to get you on here, Fabian, and stuff like that. But what's going to happen after this is I'll do a couple cleanup items, get our videos posted, do all that. And then I'm offline for the day. That's and right. Like, I'll be on Messenger and stuff, but Sunday is the family day. And it's that way specifically because, like, you're right. We have to pay attention to the family. We have to spend time with the wife and kids. We got to, do that kind of stuff. And even though, like, I was there on Thanksgiving, and we were together there, and Friday we did our grocery shopping, and yesterday we did a lot of our Christmas decorations and all that stuff. It's just you still, those days still had business involved. I was still on calls. I was still doing the other stuff, minus Thanksgiving. Nobody wanted to be on a call on Thanksgiving, and I was like, I don't either. But it's just those things. Like, you have to take that time, because even though our goal is to, like, for Kyle and I, we still work traditional jobs. Our goal is to be full-time in business so we can spend more time with our family. And like, I see it with you all the time, is you go on these extravagant adventures with your kids and stuff. And which I say extravagant for you, you might be like, hey, a day at the beach is just another day. but it's not.
Not
like
with 10 kids.
Right, not with 10 kids, right. But when you think about it, all of these things you do, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. Right. And that's the things that, we look at is what we want to, be able to do with our lives. But which, speaking of, like, I will have to say, and I want you to really, like, truthfully, what is it like having 10 kids around the house and trying to run businesses?
Truthfully, what is it like?
Truthfully.
It's like pandemonium. Like, it's like controlled chaos. It's like, well, first of all, let me paint the picture a little bit clearer, right? Because there are 10 kids, but I don't have all 10 kids don't live at my house, right? It's a blended family, right? So we have 3 sets of twins, and we have 4 singles, right? So that's the first, first fun fact, right? So I married my wife. Well, we've been together since 2001, and we got married in 2006. I met a woman. She had 6 kids, right? She had 2 sets of twins, and she had 2 singles from her first marriage, right? She is a domestic violence survivor from her POS ex, and she was able to, essentially escape from her situation, go to a safe house in Maryland, and then from that safe house, came back up to South Jersey here, where her sister lived, and then was living with her sister and her kids for a little while. That's where I met my wife. We lived on the same block. So I had bought a house. I was 19 years old. I bought my first house. I know that's crazy. I got into real estate, but Danielle, my wife, well, at the time, just a neighbor, she lived 4 houses down from me. And actually, the girl who babysitted for her kids was my across the street neighbor. She's the one that hooked us up. And a fun fact about that girl, her name is also Danielle, ironically enough. But that girl was like, I'm not sure if you probably don't watch Howard Stern, but she was like Miss February Howard Stern back in I don't know,
that's hilarious.
2003 or something.
Back when it was on E.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, man. Yeah. So just. I have a very, very crazy story, man. And how does it work, man? So the older kids they're out and about. They're, our oldest son lives in Texas. And then his twin lives not too far from us, like maybe 20 minutes away from us, in an apartment. And then, Talon lives with his daughter, and then Jonah lives in Philadelphia. And then Sarah, she's in DC right now. Finishing up her internship. She actually graduates. We're going to pick her up next weekend coming up, Friday. Her twin brother, he is he goes to college, but he's homeschooled, not homeschool, but online school now, because, there's no such thing as real school now because of coronavirus. Anyway, and then so Isaiah and Sarah will live home, but everyone else is kind of out of the nest, right? Okay. So I have essentially 6 at home, 2 that are in college. So when they're at school, but when they're home, and then me and Danielle's kids together. I have a 13-year-old Isabella. She's in 8th grade. I got twins who are in 5th grade, 10 years old, and then I have baby. She's not really a baby. She's 6 years old. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, fellas.
That's crazy. So something that's freaking awesome, but at the same time, blows my mind. 3 sets of twins,
right?
And that's some strong genes you found there.
All her.
Seriously.
All her. There is not a set of twins in my family. And the chances, so her brother has a set of twins, her sister has a set of twins, and she has 3 sets of twins. So it's 1,000% in on their side. Oh yeah,
that family's got some strong twin genes there.
Yeah, and all everybody's fraternal, right? So it's you drop multiple eggs.
Yeah. Oh, so none of these are identical twins. They're all just fraternal twins.
They're all fraternal twins. Yeah.
Whoa, that's even crazier, because to my and I'm not a biologist or anything like that, but to my understanding, fraternal twins are actually harder to happen than identical twins, because identical twins are just a split yolk, not multiple eggs. So that's cool. That's actually really cool. But so. One thing that I didn't put down in the intro, but I do want to cover, is that before you became full-time in business, you were a teacher. And, something that's cool about that is being a teacher, that's, not just dealing with your own kids, but you're dealing with other people's kids too. So, I don't want to note that fact that, that's something that you definitely had under your belt. But, where did that transition happen when you went from being a teacher to being a full-time entrepreneur? What went through your head at that point when you decided, this is what I got to do? Was that due to network marketing? Was that due to your record label stuff or your professional saxophone? There's a lot there. We could probably be on here for 3 hours going through your whole story. But with everything, where did that transition happen, and why was that important to you?
It was a long, ongoing transition. So like you said, right, I was a school teacher. I went to school in Philly, graduated from University of the Arts with a performance degree, which basically means I was taught by the best. I knew how to play my horn, but you don't get a job with a performance degree, and you don't get gigs with a performance degree. You just got to play, or you can't play.
Right.
So graduated, man. I spent the summer just kind of, I was already playing professionally and recording and just doing my thing. And I was already a homeowner, right? So I had already had a footing in business. I didn't, unbeknownst to me, right? And then I started teaching music, right? That was the backup plan that my parents made me do. So I didn't become a broke, starving musician, playing my horn downtown Philadelphia, on the streets with my case open saying, drop some money in there, right? My parents didn't see that for me, and I didn't see that for myself either. And, just being in the industry and seeing, my peers and the people who were older than me playing, you kind of had to have a sense of diversification, right? So the diversification has been instilled in me very, very young, bro. So as I went through teaching, I was just diversifying in the music business, right? So my first business was teaching kids, right? I would teach private lessons to your kids. I would go to your house. I would spend 30 minutes to an hour doing whatever it is, to teaching them saxophone or piano or whatever, and then go on to the next house. And I would do that 6 days a week and build a pretty substantial, built my communication skills, right? Build the ability to really effectively communicate with kids and communicate with their parents based on what they wanted their goals to be, right? The coaching has started very, very early in my career as a teacher and as a person who taught private lessons. The transition, dude, ongoing. I remember 2009, me and my business partner Jeremy Granhart thought it was a good idea to get into the production world and produce artists and help their song and their music get better. And that was a pretty awesome idea, but a pretty dumb in timing, because that was right when the real estate financial crisis was happening, if you guys remember that.
Yep.
And guess what musicians didn't have, even more than they didn't have before, was money, right? Musicians didn't have money to do the things that they wanted to do. So I kept teaching, and a friend of mine, a teacher friend of mine, was like, "Hey, dude, I want to start a farmer's market." And I'm like, "Cool, bro. Let me know how that works." He's like, "No. I want to start it with you." And I'm like, "I don't know one thing about farmers markets." And he's like, "Well, no, man, just shake hands and kiss babies and help book some music there." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can do that." And that turned into 10 years later, this amazing nonprofit called HIP, Heights in Progress, where, we're breaking ground on a brewery. We do, well, before coronavirus, we do all kinds of music festivals, beer and wine festivals. We're community programming at its finest, in the area that I live in. So, we've serviced multiple different cities, dude, and it kind of grew from an idea of a farmer's market into community programming. So we're like a business development entity for local businesses, local brick and mortars, right? So I was doing that, and I was still teaching, and I was doing professional music, and I was still teaching, right? And then I got introduced to network marketing, right? And guess what? I was still teaching. So I did all these things, right? Because I knew teaching wasn't the way to live the life that I wanted to live. It was very fulfilling. It had great purpose. I loved what I do. I kind of miss it to an extent. But I knew it wasn't the end all be all. There was no thing when I was a kid. I was like, "Hey, dude, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher." It was the backup plan that I was living, so I wasn't a freaking starving musician. That's what it was, right? But we started crushing, dude. We started crushing in all these different areas. And in 2015, I had gotten out of the classroom and I had an administrative job. In a school district, I would teach teachers how to blend technology into their curriculum, right? That was like my exit. That was my exit out of education. And the writing was on the wall, and I was in a newer position working at this school for a couple years, and they were going through some budget cuts, and they were basically like, "We love you, but we can't afford you."
Bye.
$70,000 of income. Like, I had 2 months. Okay. I had 2 months notice, and then that was it. They were going to let me go in June. So I was like, okay, well, I have at that time 15 years of experience in teaching. So let me just see what's out there. So I applied for other teaching gigs, even though I didn't want to. I'm like, you know what? And I knew, but I'm like, let me just do the right thing here. And I would, had no problem getting jobs, dude, but they didn't want to pay. So in the industry of education, a guy like me, an old fuddy-duddy that has 15 years in the game, they don't want to hire you at 15 years in the game. They want to hire you at like 2 or 3 years in the game. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go backwards in my career. That is absolutely stupid. So I burnt the education boat. I like freaking lit it on fire, and I was just like, sayonara, I'm not doing that. That ship has sailed. And at this point, I had these entrepreneurial things, and they were going good, but they weren't a sustainable lifestyle, right? So that transition, Josh, Kyle, it was literally the effing hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was not easy. It was very painful. I rocked unemployment because the job had technically laid me off for a little bit. So it's not fun living off of the government. It's not fun having to, I remember, spaghetti was like 2 to 3 days a week, man. You know why? Because it's super cheap to make, right? And the kids liked it. I remember all kinds of things, dude. I remember just not taking the kids anywhere and not going on vacation. And I just remember it not being cool. And I remember being frustrated that the man in the house, right, the one that's supposed to be doing this and that and providing, wasn't living up to the full potential. So I had to throw like gasoline all over this entrepreneur thing and light a match and watch the thing burn. And then that's when I got connected with the record label, right? So the record label had been already cooking since 1999. The cat that was running the label, that is running the label, Lewis Marks, essentially I started interning, bro. I was an intern. I went from like all these things in the industry to being an intern, okay, not getting paid and just working for free while building my network marketing, while building my nonprofit, right? But what I realized, I had this affinity for business in the music industry, and I fast tracked, dude. I was just helping this guy with whatever means I can possibly do. And, fast forward, moved from that intern position to, running an intern, I don't know what you want to call it, like an internship program, for the record label. It's a small team. I love what I do. We just got another Grammy nomination. That's fantastic. Congrats to Christian Scott and Tunde Ajwa. Yeah, man. Contemporary jazz. He actually has also another category for best jazz solo. So technically one artist, but 2 nominations. So I think that's pretty freaking dope. Over the last 8 years, we've had a nomination every single year. We've had 1 win. I think that's pretty cool. So for me, it was just all about business and how I can get better at business, right? I was building a team of network marketing, had 500 distributors, in my downline, and, one of the top ranks in my company. So I was doing it all, dude. I was doing it all. But what was happening was burnout. Because what happens in business as a solopreneur, and you solopreneurs out there, you know what I'm freaking talking about. You're going to burn yourself out pretty damn quickly if you don't have processes and systems in place, and if you don't have people to run those processes and systems in place. So that's a learning curve. That's still. I mean, I didn't go to school for business.
Oh,
froze out there.
Yep, we froze.
Yeah, well, he's talking about those, the who, not the how. I mean, we learned that in the OFA challenge, Josh.
Yep, absolutely.
That out, and that's a tough lesson to pick up sometimes, especially starting out, because you want to have all that control. You don't necessarily want to parse things off, but
right. Well, and that's
you accelerating your own growth.
Right. Well, and that's something that's super powerful. And while we're waiting for Fabian to get back on here, he looks like he either lost internet or got frozen up here or something like that. But and something that he's talking about is really powerful. Is that it's we lost him completely. All right, so he'll be back. I know he will. This happens every now and then. He gets blips in his internet sometimes, and then there's times that I'm on other calls with him, and all of a sudden it's like, where'd Fabian go? And then he comes back. He's like, oh, here he comes. See, there he is.
Sorry, guys.
We were just talking about that. Like that happens other times, like on other calls that I've been with you, and all of a sudden it's like, where'd Fabian go? Oh, he's back. Okay,
he's frozen, but now he's here.
Right. But something that's I don't know. Yeah, there all of a sudden now we've got a bunch of feedback going. But
I'm gonna mute my line and see if that's.
Nope, I think it's Kyle. Maybe. Let's see. Did that get better?
He's muted.
Yep, he's muted. That was totally. Let's see how that goes. Yep. Yeah, you're getting some feedback there, Kyle. So, anyways, back to it is so one of the things that's super cool. Yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, Eileen's comment. Appreciate the truth and honesty of the story.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. And that's something that a lot of people, what they don't realize is that entrepreneurship, being a solopreneur, being whatever, it's difficult because you don't talk about the struggles. You don't talk about the, everything all that much because you think like, hey, I got to do this all on my own. I got to figure it out. I got to be able to, make it better. Right. And the hardest part about it is that
first, isn't it?
Right.
Well,
yeah. But I love what you said is, Kyle and I were just commenting on that when you froze out there, is that it's like what we learned in the OFA challenge, with ClickFunnels, is that you start finding the who, not the what.
That's right.
You start finding out who you can get connected with, who you can get to help, who you can actually pass off some of this work to, and start building relationships. And those relationships turn into business relationships, which turn into a different type of lifestyle.
Dude, you know what? That's such a huge takeaway, Josh, because that's exactly it. That was happening in every area of my life except for network marketing, actually, because in the family arena, like my who is my wife. I could not, like, how do you do it, Fabian? I have a killer wife that does a lot of stuff. Like, she's like super freaking woman, and I could not do it. I couldn't even imagine life without her. I mean, like, it can't be done, right? And in the record industry, it was like, I had a great partner. We have a great staff, right? And we work with great artists. For same thing with the nonprofit, I have a great partner. We have great volunteers. We work with great businesses. And then in network marketing, it was like, I had a great upline. I had a great team, but it was kind of like one of those things where it really wasn't, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself, but it wasn't really a business like that. It was just like, I was just helping them, like, come on, recruit people. It wasn't really, at the time, it wasn't a real business, but I didn't know what I didn't know back then. So,
bliss.
Well, that's but then when you drink, or when you take the, what is it, the red pill in the Matrix or the blue pill, I forget which one is the good one, but when you take the pill and you wake up from the Matrix and you see, oh, there's a better way to do the things that you're doing, right? Everything in all my businesses started changing, because the more I started learning about business and how to market, how to sell, the foundational aspects of business, the more I knew about that stuff, the more I learned about that, things just started changing in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, dude. I love that. We got the little one there. Fabian's, looks like, I think that's his youngest there, right? That's your youngest, isn't it?
Yeah, it's number 10. That's Daniela. She's the frequent. She's going to be known, famous, just for the girl who comes up on camera.
Cameos, yeah. You're gonna have one day where you're gonna like go like on stage somewhere and then be like, "Where's Daniela?"
Right.
All right, come here, girl. She'll be like 15, and she'll be like, "No, Dad." And you're like, "No, get up here. You're famous."
It's like everyone's known you now. Come on,
Yeah.
you have to come and interrupt me doing something. Always live, always. No, it's cool though, but it's those kind of things, right? Like, I could be weird and be like, "Get out of here! I'm on camera." But dude, what kind of, that's just weird, right? If people can't accept you because you're a dad and you have kids and you have these things, and we're all, working from home and all these other, dude, like it is what it is. I think times are changing, fellas. And I think the work that you're doing here and going live and going online and things like that, I think that's amazing, because we're going to see a lot more of that. And the people, you want one or two? One. And the people that are more that are adapting to these technologies and that are doing things like this and putting themselves out there and building their influence and building a tribe and building a network of people, above and beyond their network marketing company or their whatever it is. I think we are in the age where we can all there's only one you, Josh. Kyle, there's only one you, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, you are it. You are very, very unique. So why not get on a microphone, and have your voice, collaborate with someone awesome like Josh. You two guys are great, and make some freaking noise. Make some freaking noise, right? And that's what you guys are doing. And that's the hardest thing to start is something like this, right? And in marketing, we call it publishing, right? Are you guys publishing?
No doubt.
And I think
daily, right?
Yeah, dude. The people who are listen, here's what I say all the time. You guys can't just like listen to what we're saying. You got to watch what we're doing. And what people are doing, or the people who are getting notoriety and attention out there, and they're cutting through the sea of noise, is they're being consistent with their publishing. And it doesn't have to be video. It could be audio. It could be video and audio. It could be blogging. It could be anything. But the point is, you gotta make some noise.
That's a common theme with you already, man. It's just consistency. You just got to show up daily. Just show up daily. That's like 90% of the battle.
And play full out, man, because you can show up and be half-assed with anything, right? Like, you can just show up and like, oh, I'm just another body here. Think about all those people that come to those events, in that network marketing industry, or, it's like you can point a finger or you can like lift a finger, right? And I just like to work with people that are lifting fingers, right? And that are all about something more than just themselves. They're all about, contributing towards a great, it's like going to church, man. The reason why people go to church is because they love the congregation, they love the feel, they love the atmosphere, they love the vibe, they love the community, right? Their belief system is all rallied around the same exact thing, and they attend at least a minimum of once a week to get replenished from the week's, trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah.
So, we can replicate that ideology and that feeling and that sense of community in business. We can replicate that in family, and we should. It's completely encouraged. And I'm not trying to push a belief on anyone or anything like that. It's not that kind of show. But at the same time, I really do believe it is exactly like that. And if you approach it like that, I think wonderful things are bound to happen. It's been happening for me. I'm very clear on where we're taking this thing and where we're going. And I'm just really fortunate to have some amazing freaking people, in my corner, fighting for me, rooting for me, and, everything in between.
I love that story, though, just talking about and relating it back to the community aspect of what church can be for a lot of people.
Yep.
And like an online community can be the same thing. Like, it's fulfilling that whatever it is that you need to have fulfilled. And a lot of that can come in like when you showcase your real self, right? So like when you talk about, we've talked about this a gazillion times, but the RVL method, right? Results, value, lifestyle. But the lifestyle piece, like, instead of it being like this curation of your Instagram, right, when you went on your vacation, it's your daughter showing up on a live and you had to like open a thing crackers for her, or whatever it is, right? Like, but that's real life, and people will relate to that so much better than seeing this perfect curation of what what you think other people want to see in your life. Just be real, show them who you really are, and there's so much more relatability there.
Well,
and truthfulness.
My coach calls it the days of bro marketing are over. They're dead. They're not here anymore. So the fancy shiny, and look, been there, done that too, right? The fancy shiny Bentleys and Lamborghinis and all this stuff, and the custom suits and like the perfect haircut, and like I could, dude, 3 years ago I would never come to a thing like this without being shaved and primped, and now, I mean, I'm not saying now I just like, I don't care about the way I look. I'm not saying that, but I'm a little bit more like, dude, it's Sunday. Don't worry, I'll be clean shaved by Monday. Don't worry, guys, relax. I can go a little grizzly, on a weekend. And you're right, Kyle. People want real, dude. They want to hear the mistakes. They want to hear the failures, because
it's all more relatable that way. It just is.
Yep.
That's how people are connected.
They don't want to see fake people out there. Like, here's the thing, and I know, like, Kyle, I know you don't have a lot of experience in this, but Fabian, you and I do, is like, when you first get into network marketing, you go to your first big function and you sit down and you go look at those people on stage, and they like glide across the stage and they get up to that microphone and you're watching them going, man, I don't know if I can ever be like that. And the moment that changes is when you realize that they're not like that every day. They're like that on that day because that's the way that they want to present themselves and show themselves that day. But if you really truly listen to the stories that they tell up on stage, you hear about the time that their 3-year-old puked all over the back of the car. You hear about the time that they, you know, went to go change a poopy diaper and, you know, ended up having it all over themselves. You hear about the scraped knees. You hear about all this stuff. But it's the thing is people don't truly listen. They listen with their eyes, not their ears.
That's right.
And when people start listening with their ears and their heart, that's when they start realizing that all these people out there started from somewhere. Yeah. Very, very few people started with millions of dollars in their pocket. Almost everybody started at some base level and worked their way up somewhere. And what you said earlier is like, you know, you guys went through everything and you started figuring out where things worked. You know, the things changed a little bit because, you started realizing, you know, the times are different and you had to kind of adapt and you had to do things a little bit differently than how you were taught initially. It's because you started opening up the floodgates per se, right? You opened up the mind gate and you said, all right, let's be a little receptive to what's really going on in the world. And you started seeing the relatability around. And you started going, okay, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. And then what happened to your business? It went boom. And so that's something powerful that I think people lose is that like Kyle and I didn't put this together to be all prim and proper. I don't think I've worn a collared shirt our entire time we've done this podcast. Like, and today, like I'm dealing with a stuffy nose and stuff. I got up all, you know, freaking scruffy and everything.
Hey, you look good, buddy. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Oh, but that's just it's the realism behind it, right? We don't want people to see us as these fake, you know, showing off our Rolex and stuff. I don't even own a Rolex.
I don't have a Rolex either.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to see that. No matter how many times people are told, like, oh, you got to show the success. It's like, show the true success. Show being able to be a dad to your kids. Show being able to be a friend to your partner. Show being able to be a leader to the people like you, Fabian. You've shown that you've been a leader to your students that come into your program. And as a leader, you know, like I'm a student of your program. I know Kyle kind of dabbles in there as well a little bit. He's part of your group and stuff, but I don't look at you and go, man, Fabian thinks terrible of me because I'm not as active as somebody else. I don't ever feel that way because you never make me feel that way. But how many times have you heard stories of other groups and other courses and other programs where that's exactly what they do is they say, well, if you're not active, then you're not a part of our team.
No, well, that's, you know, that's when you can just reach out an olive branch and say, dude, is everything okay? Like, right. Hey, or it could be as simple as let me like or let me heart whatever it is that you're talking about on in your world, right? It's, you know, there's ebbs and flows with life and business. There's ups and downs. It's life is a freaking, you know, roller coaster. But if you're focusing on building anything, you know, it's definitely a process, to use your word, Josh, right? We just don't come out entrepreneurs blazing the trails and making things happen and it's raining and we have all this impact in all these people's lives. And no, you got to work for that, man. You gotta, you know, there's a methodology that I call the 5 Ps. And, you know, again, this is one of the things that I'm being coached on right now. And if you know the people that you want to work with, if you know their pain and if you know their problem, right? What you can do is, if you are the right person, you can promise them something that's going to help them with their pain and their problem, right? But you have to promise that with a process, with a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You got that, Kyle?
That's awesome.
Taking some show notes. I love it. Yeah. But that's the thing right there, right? So just think about it. What people do you guys want to have? You know, what dads do you want to attract in your life? What good humans, right? Think about the people, because at the end of the day, it's all about the people, right? What kind of community do you want to build of these people? Like when they call you on the phone and you see their name on the caller ID or you get a notification, you don't want to be like, oh man, there's that Kyle guy again. I guess I'm gonna have to respond to this. No, man. You know, get yourself in a position in life where the people in your life are nothing but the best people that you want to work with, first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a person of leadership and you're trying to help people, like if you are the leader, you two guys, you're the leader. I'm sure people who are watching this, they're the leaders, right? Well, you got to know your people's pains and you got to know their problems. Right. Well, what's their pain? You know, not just in business, what's their pain in life? You know, what's their pain in their relationships? Right. What's their pain? Right. And what problems is that pain causing them? Holy crap. You know, is the problem that they don't have a good relationship with their kids? They don't have a good relationship with their wife, or they're on the income roller coaster, you know, paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, right? You know, what problems are occurring based on the pains that they're freaking going through and that they're experiencing. And then the big promise, like if you were going to be an influential person in other people's lives, if you're going to be someone who's going to be there to help them, to coach them, to guide them, to teach them, you know, each one teach one, the whole thing, right? Then your promise better be super duper sexy, right? And you better be able to deliver on that super duper sexy promise, because if you're putting yourself in a position to be impactful to other people's lives, it is your freaking responsibility to show up full every freaking day long, show up full for your family. And look, it's not going to be easy, right? But that's why you have to have a process, right? What is your process to help fulfill that promise with people? What's your process for your family? What's your process for your life? What's your process for your business? How do those processes all, you know, like in an infinity sign, right? How do they all connect with one another? It's a never ending loop, right? That's life right there, guys. And once you start connecting yourselves with people who know a little bit more, I mean, here's what I'll say, and I'll shut up. I've been an investor for a very, very long time. Investing in me, investing in the YOU. Okay. I don't invest, you know, what is the thing that, oh shucks. When you're a teacher, when you work for the state, you know, you can invest in an IRA, in an IRA, right? You can invest in, you know, like they come in, oh, invest in this IRA and we'll hold your money for you. And then and when you're like 65 years old, we'll give you this beautiful portfolio of things that we've managed your money for. I'm like, well, hold on. Why can't I manage my own money? I'll just take that and I'll do the things that I want to do, right? And then I found out there was people who were smarter than me with money, right? And I found out that, you know, the idea that what I can do is I can actually find these smarter people, and I have two costs. I have the cost of time, or I have the cost of money. I can spend a lot of time doing things by myself and learning by myself and encouraging myself and reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts. And that's one way to do it. You can do it that way. You can spend a lot of time. It's going to be one way to do it. The other way to do it is money. Who, like you said earlier, Josh, you know, who can I give this money to? And when I give this money to that person, right, then their promise to me is they're going to get me some kind of result. So I've been that way all through my music career. Like I've paid good money for good teachers to teach me how to play better, right? When I was doing the real estate thing, I paid good money to people who understood real estate better than me. And the same thing in business. I've always had business mentors. When I got into the music industry with actual the business side of it, you know, my partner Lewis, he's today he's a great coach. He's a great mentor, someone who I look up to. So, I mean, I guess my takeaway, what I'm trying to tell you and your audience is, man, sometimes you got to find the who, and you got to find the person to invest in order to get those things down, to get your process down, to get your promise down, to know what people you want to work with and know their pain and problems.
For sure. Yeah, and that's something super powerful too, because when you look at, like, you know, like you said, investing in yourself and investing in your success, that doesn't always mean, like, people, they get that mixed up. They say like, oh, well, I have to spend money on all these things. And it's like, no, you don't have to spend money. You can spend time. You can read books. You can follow leaders. You can, you know, do whatever. Like, here's what's interesting is very rarely does somebody go, hey, can you help me with this? They go, hey, what do I need to buy to get this, or what do I need to pay for to get this? And it's like there's times I've had just the other day I had one person go, "Hey, can you help me?" And I said, "Yeah, I can help you, but it depends on what you need help with. Like I have ways I can help you, but what do you need help with?" But what's funny is people, they see this, and this is where this day and age with all the pandemic and everything that's happened, all the people that never would have gone online have come out of the woodwork. And dude, it's crazy. Like the amount of things that people are coming out with and just being like, hey, pay me to go on and create you a video with my software that I already have for free. Or pay me to go create you a cover photo in Canva, or pay me to, and it's like, okay, that's great, except what value are you providing to those people? That the value of someone going, okay, well, I'm going to pay you for this Canva picture, and what they do, they took a black background, cut you out in like a wavy line, and pasted onto this background and typed in some white like typewriter letters and said, here you go, now pay me my $50. And yeah, and it's like what people need to realize is that it's not always about money. Yes, eventually investing is investing into things that are going to be good for the long run, right? But it's about investing in yourself to be a better person. Now, sometimes it does take money, like you said, paying people to teach you how to play better, paying people to teach you how to be a better business person. I know you guys just spent a ton of money on coaching recently, but that's a choice you made because you had the means to do so. And I think that's like your point on that. More people need to hear that every single day of their life. Is it's not because you don't have to do what Fabian did today. Like Fabian's taken 20 years to go through everything that he's doing. You're not going to have that happen in 6 months.
Say that again for the people in the back of the room.
But it's crazy to think that so many people, like, I don't know, you've got me inspired now because I'm thinking about all these guys that are like, oh, well, that guy over there made $50,000 in one day. Why can't I do that? Because that guy spent the last 10 years building a list of 150,000 people with an email in his autoresponder, and he sent an email and made $50,000 because 50 of those people bought a $1,000 product,
right,
out of 150,000. Like, come on, people.
Right.
Figure this out.
So the responsibility is on two people, right, Josh? The responsibility is on the charlatan that may be selling the thing, right? And maybe they're not a charlatan, right? Maybe they're just a real genuine, good person. But then it's up to people like us to decipher, well, what is it that I'm really hearing, right? And it's come down to an individual's awareness of what the problem is, what the perceived problem is versus what the real problem is, right? And this only can happen with reflection. Okay, what is the perceived problem that you have right now, right? And then go layers deeper, because that may not be the root of the actual problem that you are going through at this time, right? My perceived problem in 2015, when I essentially got $70,000 removed from my bank account because I was no longer in the education space, I thought the problem was, oh, the school laid me off, and that now I got to figure out how to do it. What the real problem is, I should have been ready. I should have been prepared. I had years of time to, because again, I don't want to say you need to come up with a plan B or anything crazy like that. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be complacent and you shouldn't settle for where you're at. Like, I will never do that again. In education, you get kind of warm and you get cushy, right? Because you could be there for, a good 25 years, make your pension, get a part-time job at Home Depot when you're 55 years old as a door greeter, and you'll be good to go, right? Like, or you could be like, dude, that is not the life that I want to have. What is it that I can do today to set up the next year, to set up the next 2-3 years, to set up the next 5 years, set up the next 10 years? What's your big audacious vision for your life, for yourself, for your relationships, for your financial situation, for the people that you love the most, for your health? Like, what are the things that you're destined to do? And that's collectively our individual responsibility. Like no one should be telling you how to do that. You should have the vision for yourself. Now, look, if you can't complete the vision, then you got to be like, well, who's the who? I read the books. I listened to the podcast. I got the information. Okay. You've primed the pump. Okay. You've built the foundation. Now what's next? The next thing is, who the heck can I connect with that can help me?
Yep.
Who is it? Who is it? I know someone out there can help me. And you may go through one person or two people or three people before you're like, ah, man, that wasn't a good fit. Like, he was cool and everything, but there was something that wasn't just right. Like, you're going to go. That's a part of the process.
Yeah.
It's part of the process.
For sure. Yeah, that complacency can set in real easy, doesn't it? If you're not intentional about your daily process.
Dude, I used to get up at 4:45 every single morning before I taught because that was my time to crush it. I had no freaking excuses. I ran 2 miles every single morning, 4:45 in the morning. Okay. Right. Grabbed my shower, did my affirmations, read my chapter in the book, like whatever I had to do for this guy. Right. And then I woke up the kids and then I started making them breakfast. And then, okay, Danielle, it's time for you to get up, and then I got the house in order. Right. But I did my thing first. Right. I made the sacrifice of going, Netflix. What's Netflix? I don't know what I have it. I know I pay $15 a month for it or whatever like that, but I don't know what Netflix is.
Is that like putting on the oxygen mask in the airplane before anybody else?
Dude, if you don't help,
you gotta take care of yourself first to help somebody else. That's
it, dude. How are you going to show up and play full out for the people that you love if you're not fulfilling and self-care and love? And dude, there's a reason why I go get massages. There's a reason why there's a reason why I meditate. There's reasons for all of this stuff. It's for you to get centered so you can show up. You got to have your mechanisms.
The best way I've heard that is that you can't pour from an empty cup. The thing is that we have to fill our cup first in order to fill somebody else's cup.
That's right.
And it's crazy too, because there's so many times that you hear these people like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to help these people and it's not working. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing for yourself first? And they go, oh, well, I'll take care of myself later. It's like, no, that's the problem. If you're not taking care of yourself now, then you're not going to be able to help anybody because there's nothing left to give.
That's right.
And that's, it's a double-edged sword too, because you obviously want to provide value to people to be able to get what you want in life. You serve, you give to others, and eventually what will, that will come around back to you. But there's still some of that, like a good example is, with Clever Moneymakers, your guys' program, which I love you repping your guys' Become the Upline program. That's awesome. Your sweatshirt, your hat.
I just got this hat, little fuzz of there, dude. If you haven't noticed, I love my hats, right? I'm always wearing,
yes.
It's usually the backwards vibe, okay, but I kind of repped it today,
Well, and here's the thing is, like, that program, you guys, you didn't turn around and say, oh, well, we're going to give this to everybody and we're going to help everybody, but we're not going to do anything for ourselves first because the money will come. You guys said, you know what, we got to be able to do something for ourselves and help ourselves out. So you started making money, and then you started going through and helping people. Then you started doing all this stuff. And it's cool because I got connected with you guys before the official, like, big, huge launch of all this stuff. And it's been cool to watch your guys' journey, to be able to watch you guys get to where you are now. I mean, come on, what was it? You guys had like a $27,000 day. Like, it was just
25. I wish it was 27.
Yeah. But still, like, $25,000 in a day. And like, you didn't do that because you guys were burning yourselves out and doing whatever. You filled your cup. You made some sales. You sold some betas of the program. You got people in there. You got people rolling. And then you said, all right, guys, we're going to do this thing for real. And you did it for real. And then it exploded. Well, why? Because you poured into yourself. You guys got yourself invested into. You got coaching. You got all this stuff. You filled your cup and you're like, hey, David, hey, Eric, our cups are kind of overflowing right now. What should we do? Okay, well, let's give people deals. So you gave people the opportunity to get into your program for less than what the program was designed to be, because you said, hey, people need this program. And then you were like, hey, Black Friday's coming around. What should we do? Let's give people more deals. It's like, all right, cool. Here's another deal. And it's cool that succession, because if you would have tried that 3 months ago, it'd have fallen. You guys have fallen flat on your face.
Well,
And
it's a year in running, right? So you're like, oh, 20, people listening, wow, $25,000 in one day, right? What they didn't hear was that how many days there were $0 made.
yeah.
There was a lot more $0 days than there were $25,000 days.
Oh, yeah.
Or how about just starting out and then the pandemic hits and you guys went, what do we do now?
Dude, it's
But
like,
yet your group still grew and things still went forward, because instead of getting scared and going, oh no, you went, what do we do? What do we need to do to change? What do we need to do to move
It's all about that abundance mindset. If you got to pivot, you
100%.
pivot, but it's still abundant.
Yep.
well, that too, guys, and let's call it what it really is. It's just we're building a community of like-minded people. It's not really any deeper than that, right? So take away all the money, take away all the products, take away all the programs and all this stuff, right? What we're really good at is collecting a group of like-minded people and collecting them into a location where they can communicate and congregate and hang out with one another, and the environment grows, and then the environment can perpetuate forward, and then before you know it, the people inside of the community are telling other people about the community, and then you have this viral effect, right? But you start that off with a very small nucleus of people, right? Like if you can, like, okay, I remember when this time last year, all right, like literally the end of November, okay, because before that there was no sales, right? Before that there was no clever money makers. Before that it was just this guy David Breedlove, right, with a vision. He had a vision of what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it, and he had a couple of people in mind, and he wasn't dumb enough to be like, you know what, I could do all this by myself. I'm a ninja. I'm a Jedi master marketer, and I'm gonna take over the world. No, what he realized and observed from his point of view early on was the people who were doing things, they had a team. They had a team of people, right? And they had skills that maybe he necessarily didn't have. So he found his team, right? And me, in my experience in business, I always knew that you don't win anything by yourself. You have to have infrastructure, and you have to have things and systems in place, and you have to have teams in place. I knew that. So when he extended the olive branch and said, hey, look, do you want to compete or do you want to collaborate? And I'm like, oh, I'm not a real good competitor, even though I like to win, but I do like to collaborate with people so that we can win more, right? And that was that conversation. He introduced me to Eric, and me and Eric hit it off. And it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna build a business together. It was 3 dudes hanging out on the internet, kind of like right now. We're just 3 dudes hanging out.
Isn't that
Kind
how
of
all businesses start?
That's
3
how it all
dudes
started.
hanging out
3 dudes hanging out, dude. Right? You've already experienced.
in a garage, maybe.
In a garage, right? Right.
This is the internet garage.
This is the internet garage. Is 100% right, dude. I'm. You have no idea the vision I already have for you guys a year from now, on what people you're going to be, inviting to this program. What amazing dads and amazing leaders. And if you keep doing and you keep expanding and you keep like what you guys should do is like, hey, Fabian, you've seen the program a few times now. What dads do you know that would want to be a part of this, right? And not to plant a seed or an idea, and whether you do or whether you don't, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, isn't that what all this is? Like, aren't you two trying to find your community of people and listeners and subscribers and all this other stuff, right? My man Glenn is in the house, Eileen, Sarah, Ted's in the house, all my favorite people in the world. But that's what we're doing here. Well, all we're doing is we're finding our tribe. We're finding our clique, our community, our crew, our homies, our people, our squad, our boss babes. Okay, maybe not the last one, right?
I'll be your boss, babe.
Oh, stop it, Josh.
Well, and that's as we wrap up here a little bit, I know Kyle's got some hockey stuff they've got going on here, so I don't want to take him too long. But
we got big tournament this weekend, boys.
Yeah,
nice.
Tournament, man. That's crazy. But here's the thing is, I love everything about that, and for one reason only, is we are in a business of people. Doesn't matter what business we're in a business of people. I'm I'm with you, Fabian. You know, we're in the network marketing world. You guys are doing coaching now. Kyle's in affiliate marketing. Kyle and I also do some investing and stuff too. And here's the thing is like, when it comes down to it, we are in a group of people, like like you said, we're finding our tribe, we're finding the people that we want to be our listeners and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, is that we're just real people, and we just want to be able to help other real people.
That's right.
And the way to do that is to connect with people. And it's all just networking. It doesn't matter what type of business you're in, you're always networking with people to expand that reach, to expand that thing. And you know, you're right. It's funny you mentioned hey Fabian, what other dads can you think of? It's funny because I have that down as like one of the things that we need to do is like go talk to people that we know and be like, hey, who else could you think of that we could get on an interview with? Like, because it's not about us. Yes, I mean, this podcast is our podcast, but it's about who can we showcase to show people out there that maybe are watching, maybe they're lurking, maybe they're not really sure what they want to do with their life. And there's that one guy that speaks to their heart and says, man, I can do this now. Like, I believe I can do this. And that's what's important, is that's what we're here for. It's all about the impact and being able to show people that it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a software guy, a teacher, you know, Kyle works with hearing aids. Like, we don't have specific things that we grew up with. We just made a decision and said, this is what we want to do with our life moving forward. And we got connected with the right people.
I love it.
Beautifully said.
Dude, we could talk for hours and hours on end because there's so much. I know that there's so many things.
Fabian, that's how our little podcast idea started, because our conversations went from we're going to talk for 30 minutes to 3.5 hours later. Our wife was like, "Are you guys coming to bed? Like, what's happening?"
Yeah,
dude.
It just is organic, you know. It's fun.
That's the beautiful thing. And then, you know, again, you know, my hope for both of you guys is just to cast that vision for what this can become, and what this is already is, right? And there's a lot of great programs, a lot of great podcasts that are out there, but I don't see anything like this, right? This is unique. And I think it's powerful, and it can be very helpful to dads out there that are looking for that little extra something, that inspiration or that story, like Josh said, that is going to motivate and impact someone and put an impression on them that they didn't know was going to happen. My man Christian's in the house. You know, he's another freaking mover and shaker, dude. Like, literally, I look at my Rolodex, right? I look at my phone, my messenger, and I'm like, how did I do this? How did I surround myself with the Joshes and the Kyles and the Christians and, you know, the Eileens and the Glens and the Sarahs and the Teds? Like, how did I do this? Right. And the answer I keep coming back to is just like, well, I keep showing up. I found my voice. My voice is just my voice. Like, there's just no like hey, ladies and gentlemen, and you know, like, come on, man. Like,
yep.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and not everybody can be a Steven Larson and get on and just go boom on every single one, and people fall for it, you know, like. But yeah,
I do like Steve though.
Oh, dude, he's hilarious. Honestly, I'd
Josh.
love to get him on one of our podcasts, because
that's definitely a goal.
His energy is just awesome. Like, his energy
be full
is
circle
amazing.
for us too. With
that would
how
be
we
full
connected
circle.
from OFA. Like,
yeah, I got to talk to Eric and figure out how he got Russell Brunson on his to read like a chapter of the book or whatever on his podcast, and be like,
cool.
how do I get a hold of that dude? Like,
dude, Eric's a ninja. I'm glad everyone needs an Eric. Just saying, everyone needs an Eric. I don't know how he does it. I don't even ask questions, bro. I'm just like, you did what? That sounds freaking cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
Everyone has their zone of genius, and that's really I think the thing that moves things forward. Like, the two of you guys, you have a lot of crossover, right? You have a lot of similarities, but I'm going to safely assume that both of you also have superpowers that the other doesn't. And that's a good yin and yang. That's a good balance. And, you're going to keep showing up and you're going to keep figuring the things out and you're going to grow your team, right? It may not be visible here. You'll have some back end people doing some minion work, right? Some things that need to get, who's going to be editing podcasts? Who's going to be, finding the 30-second power clips to use it as promo, to drive people back to the podcast. I know, I can see it all. I just know. I know where you guys are going, and I'm excited for you.
Appreciate
That's
that.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that as well. And I think it's super cool that, we started something with a small idea that for us was just like something to get our voice out there, something to, the things we were talking about, we're like, why aren't we talking about this to ourselves? Like, why don't we talk about this to the world? Like, why don't we put that out there? And, I don't know what the future holds. Kyle and I, we definitely dream a lot. We have a big vision for what we want this to be. And we've put a couple of those things in place and we're seeing some things actually happen, which is awesome. But, I think what the most powerful thing is, like you said, is we're just getting our voice out there and whoever's willing to listen is going to listen. And regardless of what happens, we're going to keep doing it because we love it. We love having guys like you on here. We love being able to, have people be a community and build that community around. So I do appreciate that. And yeah, dude, it's been awesome having you on here.
Thanks, dude.
Dude, I was looking forward to it all week. I'm like, man, I was like, we're getting Fabian on here. This is going to be great. We had Eric on here last month. Like, we're
gonna have to do it again for sure. This was fun.
Oh yeah, we already told Eric this, and I'm gonna say the same thing to you: is we gotta plan it at least like 6 to 12 months down the road, and be like, where are we all at that point in time, and just get reacquainted. Be like, what has changed and how is life different, right?
That would be an interesting follow-up show for freaking sure. 100%, dude.
So awesome.
I like that
well,
foreshadowing, Josh.
Yeah, hey, I'm just saying, like, Kyle and I have talked about that, and there's that vision that I have a vision. I'm calling it out right now. I have a vision that Kyle and I will turn this into a Monday through Friday morning show where we'll get on and we'll just talk about whatever, and we'll just have, like, almost every day is going to be a different person that's going to hop on with us, and we'll have regulars. We'll have people that'll be like, we want somebody on there. Kyle's excuse me, Kyle's his relation to that is like Joe Rogan's podcast, right? Like, Joe's got so many people on there that does stuff, and he has regulars. He has people that come on, which I figured it out one day. I'm like, the regulars are the people that are like, he's like, hey, you're on a call for me to, like, get on with me and have somebody to talk to if I have nobody else. And these guys do it glad. Right? Yeah, we got to find our Joey Diaz, right? But that's just it. That's my vision. Right. What we talked about, like, I would love that to be something like, once we're free, we don't have a day job, like, this becomes basically our Monday through Friday. But it won't be a 9 to 5. It'll be our passion. So we'll love to do it. We'll get up every morning. We'll get it going. It'll be probably around this same time so people can catch it. So it's not super early for too many people, minus like Eric in Alaska where it's like 5 a.m. But
yeah, that's always. But he crushes at 5 a.m. So like it doesn't make a difference. Like he's up like a deer like in headlights. He's like, dude, it's like 4 something in the morning for you right now. Like, I know, man. I'm just excited. I'm like, what time did you go to bed last night? I don't know, like 10:30. I'm like, okay, if you can handle that, dude, that's crazy. I don't know if I could do that like that way. No, man, I really appreciate you having me guys on here. Kyle, Josh, I think nothing but the best of you guys, and I'm honored to be on this list of amazing guests that you've had, and would love to come back in a like a 6 month, 12 month, whatever it is, like a where's this guy Fabian now? I'll probably still be here, but like where where in life is Fabian? That would totally be cool. And thanks for your audience for listening and hanging in and supporting you guys. I think this has been awesome.
Dude, appreciate it
for coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
I'm gonna let Kyle get to his tournament. Fabian, you get back to being awesome and helping out the people, and we will chat with you guys later.
Next time, guys.
See you guys.